Hello, my name is Faith Massey, and this is for my final for college writing. All right, so I first want to go through the sections of P1, P2, and P3, and then I'll gradually make connections from all of them. And what I really want to get in this video is I want to show you not only the way that I think and the what I connect and share my truth, but really more so what I learned and what I got from it, and why these projects to me have been an experience, a learning opportunity, and something I will definitely take forever. So in P1, I got to share my story of my activism, not only with my classmates, but with my teacher. And for me, this was important because moving to college, you're not necessarily the same person you were in high school. And I'm not saying like you're a completely different person, but what I am saying, the same things that you internalized as your identity are not necessarily the same things that you take with you, right? But so the cycle of liberation, which is necessarily cognitive dissonance. You see something wrong, it creates this and like this friction in you. Then you figure out ways to resolve the issue. You do the methods of resolve it, and then you figure out ways to continue the momentum and the change, right? And then it goes to the circle. And at the beginning of the semester, we were learning the importance of oral histories and telling your story. And it's not necessarily to get the truth, but to share your truth, right? So when I told my story, not only was I able to share it, but it was just like, it made me remember the things that I love about myself. And moving into a new place, sometimes you forget in trying to learn yourself better, you forget the identities that make you feel good about yourself. And one of those is speech. It's caring for others. It's connecting, right? Like, this is the things that make me happy. These are the most things that I love about myself. And this is how I found my light and learned through the narrative. It all comes back to the story, the narrative. I learned that what I love to do is to make change, to speak out, to use my voice, know my words, okay? To have people rethink the conventional, mundane way of life. See, I attended MLK High School in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was one of the top 3 schools in the state, where all the classes were either honors, advanced, or dual credit. I would later learn that accelerated courses would actually slow me down. And it actually led me into a dark path of isolation, unconnectedness, and I love to connect, okay? And ultimately destroyed my passion for learning. And this was so significant for me because as I was younger, I was always told, oh, you're so smart, oh, you're so smart, da 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 da. And like, I was able to consume more advanced material, even though it didn't coincide with my grade or my age. And this advancement and always been shown new things and being able to take a lot and being so mature, made me feel like I'm so independent. I'm so mature. I can do things other aren't, that not that they can't, but I know not everyone is doing this, and that made me feel good, and I internalized that. So when I later went to high school and they were like, okay, boom, let me put you in another environment where other kids aren't doing the same thing. Let me put you with other kids that aren't doing the same as the other kids, right? And I'm gonna push you, and I'm gonna put all these expectations on you, and da 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 da, and forcing you to fit this mold that doesn't fit. It never fit in this journey of not fitting, right? And not, because I sternly believe that an accelerated student doesn't need all accelerated class. Just because you're phenomenal at reading doesn't mean you're phenomenal at science. And nor should you put that on me. If I need more time, if I need a teacher that looks like me or thinks like me or acts like me, or even just space so I can digest my material, so I can connect it outside the classroom, that's what makes me feel happy. That's what makes me give back to my community, which we would see later. The opportunity that we would see later was in the move to Chicago. So after the move, I did have a little bit of struggle assimilating to my regular classes because my GPA suffered from being in all those advanced and honors classes in science and math. So when I moved, I was able to be in regular classes, regular math, regular science, and advanced, like writing and history and da 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 da. Even though I felt very grateful to be in my position. Like in my new public school, even though it was so Caucasian, like I got an iPad, which I still use for college right now. And I got certain opportunities, exposure to things that even though I was in the South and I was in a predominantly black school, which I love, we had computers that were smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like the exposure that I got, even though I was at a top tier school that you have to test in, was nothing school in the suburbs. And this is where I started to feel a little bit of the cognitive dissonance. This is where I was like, what I'm used to, what's my normal, is not normal here. This is not what I'm used to. Okay, so during that transition, I was just reflecting and observing, right? So then when it comes to culturally, now I'm in a predominantly Caucasian and like Indian population, and all my black family, all my black history, all my black community, all my black state, my black neighborhood, all that was stripped from me just in this simple move, right? So this is where the cognitive dissonance came to a breaking point. I said, okay, not only is this different for me, but this is wrong. The way that black people were isolated and ostracized and just act like they weren't even there. This is before I heard about all the cases of discrimination and prejudice and outright racism. I just watched people. And my favorite thing to do is to watch people. And this is where I'm able to not only analyze and, see new things, but this is where I'm able to see how I can make a difference. Okay? So when I seen this, and I'm like, black people are full of so much nutrients and history and passion and amazement. Like, black people are indescribable. And this is just something that I was blessed to have and to learn as a biracial black and white woman in a black family, in a black neighborhood, in a black school. And this school is nothing like that, right? So even simple things, as an example, it was Black History Month, and on the projectors they were showing a black and white, the most basic boo-woo PowerPoint of Black history, and that was all that they did. And in that moment, I knew that I had to do something like that. So I started the first Afrocentric Club. See, with the regular classes, I was not only able to assimilate into like socially sort of into my class, I was able to actually learn and sit on the material and have a sense of identity outside of my classes. And this allowed me to explore in my extracurriculars. So I started my club. I started a nonprofit. Later, I started getting involved with the community. I got the Youth Volunteer of the Year award. I went to leadership conferences in Texas and DC. And that's when I figured out, oh, I think I want to go to college in DC. This is when I figured out, oh, I think I want to study sociology because I like observing. I like change making. AU is about change making. This is when I knew this is what I got to do, and I'm going to do anything I can to not only advocate for Afrocentric learning, but make space for my people. Make space for my people. And the things that I was now exposed to far precedes this school that I had to test into at home. Right? Like, I got to meet Board of Education members, which I had interviewed in P2, and we're going to get into that. In P3. But in P2, which is when we were allowed to listen to other oral histories, Emmett Till's cousin did his own oral history. And even though his purpose was to share the truth, because there were so many misconceptions around Emmett Till's passing, that's not necessarily what you want to get out of oral history. So I do understand the difference. However, in his oral history, he experienced cognitive dissonance. He knew what other people were saying versus what he experienced. And he said, no, I'm going to do something. Oh, no, I'm going to make change. And this is something I could relate to in my transition from Nashville to here. Not only was it a personal experience of self-development, but it was a way for me to connect to people and to make change and plant a seed in others. Me doing it allowed others to say, not only can someone look like her do it, but someone is fighting for me, even though I feel like, no one is. You know what I'm saying? Like little stuff like that. That's It's such a blessing. But I think the most important thing to get out of that, and even the enslaved person's narrative, was I'm sharing my truth. I'm sharing my truth, and I'm experiencing something that I want to share. And the enslaved person, they were just sharing about day-to-day lives, but then you realize, like, this is not normal. This is not how Black people should be treated. Emmett Till, not only did he do something so innocent and it got him literally killed, but then afterwards the disrespect continued. Then his story was made into all these lies, and this connects to P3, because when I was interviewing Tim McGowan, which is a fellow activist that had a parallel story to mine, he was from Chicago, Black community, moved to the suburbs, experienced all this racism, discrimination, wanted to invoke change. He was basically saying how, connecting this back to Emmett Till, I think it was the Elijah McClain case, and how the media misconstrued his story. And that's parallel to Emmett Till's story. How not only is it you're just saying whatever you want to say, but you're literally attributing to the cycle of oppression, the systemic oppression. Because not only did you have to lie during this person's life and take their life, but after the fact, you can't even get the story straight. You still want to put on your prejudice and your discrimination, and then you want to spread that so that others can believe it and others can treat others poorly. You know what I'm saying? So in P1, P2, and P3, I think the biggest thing that I noticed was there's this moment where this is not only different for me and it feels different for me, but this is wrong. This is wrong. And I want to do what I can within my person, within my body, to make it just a little better. Not necessarily make it right, because it's not going to be one person. I have a painting right here. It's Malcolm X, MLK, Obama. There we go. There's my painting. It's not just one person. It's never going to be one person. It's not just Emmett Till's person. It's not just, Emmett Till was not the only lives lost. It's not just Emmett Till's cousin that's going to be trying to speak the truth. It's not just Tim McGowan, activist, Board of Education member. It's not just him. It's not just me. It's not. It's not just MLK. But it's all of us coming together to make things just a little bit better. And you trying to make things better, there's a Bible verse, and this is connecting outside of class, which I love to do, but basically it's Genesis 1:11. And I'm not going to try to do it like perfectly, but essentially it's like God made trees, God planted seeds, and those trees made seeds or something like that. And to me, what this means is God gave you a sense of purpose, or God put something on your heart to do, right? And in you following that and being obedient and growing allows the environment around you to succeed as well, to promote growth as well. I mean, so in you being obedient, you making the world just a little better, you're not trying to make a whole garden. You're just growing and developing yourself. You're just doing your purpose, and in doing that, you're stimulating the growth around you. And that is what creates the collective. And that is what makes change. And that's what I got from P1, P2, and P3, and outside of class, and just in life. And I appreciate these projects, and I appreciate this class because, yes, it refined my skills as a writer. But I was very apprehensive at the beginning because writing can be so meticulous. But writing allowed me to have time to sit with my material and space to make it important to me. It's not just getting an assignment done. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. But it's not just getting an assignment done. The assignments will always be there, you know, but you won't. And sometimes it's just more important about what you learn from the assignment and the skills that you're developing through it and what you want to get out of it. And I feel like I got something out of it. You're going to experience something. And it's not only going to be different for you, but you're going to realize that this shouldn't be like this. And in you seeing that and you getting something on your heart, you getting a sense of purpose, a sense of whatever the case may be, and you invoking whatever, the sense of change or activism, whatever, will stimulate the environment around you to promote growth. which promotes a collectivism, which promotes change. And this is all that's required of you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.